Have you ever had one of those situations where you swore you saw somebody in a place, but they weren't there, or they saw you in a place and you weren't there? It couldn't be possible that you were there, but they swear they saw you. Because I had this experience that happened about 10 years ago. A friend of mine, and I was quite close to her, so she knew my character, she knew how I dressed, she knew how I styled my hair. So she knew me well. She had a shop and she was working in the shop. Anyway, this one particular day, this lady walked in who she thought was me. She said it looked like you, the hair was the same, mannerisms were the same, the way she was dressed. She said instantly I just thought it was you. So she's kind of gone, hey, how are you? But the other lady just sort of smiled as if to say, I don't know you. Anyway, as it progressed, this lady was walking around looking for some things to buy from the shop. And my friend was calling out, how's life been? How's the family? And the other lady was was not responding. It was just kind of like, who are you? Why are you asking me all these questions? When she got to the checkout to pay, to the counter to pay for her stuff, the lady goes, I'm sorry, I thought I knew you. I thought you were Vicky. And she goes, no. And just looked at her and she said, I was that close, just the counter away. And she had your face, your hair, your clothes, your voice, everything was about you. And she said, I thought for a moment you were playing a trick on me. Like it is really Vicky and she's just making out she doesn't know me. That's how real it was. But this woman still blatantly said, I'm not Vicky. And she ended up buying some products and she left. So my friend then later that night when she'd finished work texted me and said, were you shopping today in my shop and you were playing a joke on me? And I said, no, I was in and I was 5 hours away from where she was. And I could prove that I was that far away. It wasn't me. And she said, that is unbelievable. And I know we have doppelgangers. We have someone somewhere that can look exactly like us. But I also think, was that a crossing of timelines? Was that a timeline where it actually was me, but I hadn't met her yet? So I didn't know. You know how you can have different paths in life, different choices, sliding door moments. Did I happen to go into that store? But I had not met her yet. That's why I didn't know who she was, but she knew who I was. I've also found this with after somebody has died and I will see them in a crowd. I'll just be out shopping or driving or something. And this happened only about 6 months ago. Driving into a car park, I saw this other car coming towards me and there was a man driving and I instantly knew him and I thought, I know who that is. And I went to wave and then all of a sudden I thought, oh no, he passed away. That's right. It was an absolute dead ringer for him. Even the kind of car he was driving would have been what he drove. So, and sometimes someone's passed away. I remember with my own Nana when I was only a teenager. She passed when I was 16. It was probably about 2 years later, I was walking through the Adelaide Mall, the Rundle Mall, and the crowds and crowds of people. And as I looked across on the other side, this lady just went through the crowd and I could have sworn it was my Nana. But she wasn't here in the physical anymore. But so, that's where it's very hard for our minds to understand how dimensions can cross over and timelines can cross over because we only really notice right now. But tell me your story. Like, did somebody ever see you somewhere? They swore they saw you, but you couldn't possibly have been there. Did you see somebody else who you thought it was them? And have you seen in a crowd or somewhere, have you seen somebody that looks exactly like someone you knew who has passed away?